Hey everybody, good afternoon. Hope good evening, good night, good morning. It is very late here and I cannot sleep. I had a fun drive from the coast, the Vancouver coast up to where I live here in Merritt. A nice long drive. And I'm wide awake and the whole house is asleep, so I'm going to sit back and make a video and spend some time with you guys. And it's a prelude. Is this a prelude to war? It's this whole Iran thing that's, my channel's really not about the whole war thing and covering war and kind of dissecting war and where it's headed. It's the same thing. We're aggressive, we fight, we go to war. What do we do? So today I got a good one for you guys, and I want to call this one Black Market Petro. Are we in a prelude to a war? And that is the main question here. And I want to see answered in the comments below. Because we've seen this time and time again. And U.S. is, from May 2nd, the U.S. rolled out a new law or a new policy that it's going to start sanctioning other countries that deal with Iranian oil. Okay. So right now, Iran is forcing itself to sell oil in the gray market as U.S. tightens sanctions. Minister says Tehran is mobilizing all resources to sell oil on the gray market to bypass U.S. sanctions on Iranian crude. So, black market petro. Iran has mobilized all its resources to sell oil in the gray market, a top official said after the United States told buyers of Iranian oil, including China. Now, here's the problem with China, guys. China is the powerhouse energy consumer of the planet right now. China consumes, I call it the red dragon, because of the amount of energy that China consumes is absolutely phenomenal. Factories, 1.5 billion people. That's a lot of energy, guys. And telling China to stop buying. China buys from every angle. They buy from Africa. They buy from Australia. They buy from anywhere they can get their hands on just to fuel that red dragon, right? So it's kind of like, telling someone to stop eating a meal a day because, yeah. So India and Turkey. Turkey, I don't know why Turkey would be there because they're buying black market petrol from over in Syria. So Syria, and I think is it Libya too? No, Syria. They're getting black market petrol from all over the place. So I don't know why Turkey would care to buy oil from Iran anyway. So these countries must stop purchases from Iran or face sanctions. Like, wow. Iran's deputy oil minister told the state media on Sunday that Iran will continue to export despite the U.S. sanctions, which he said were neither just nor legitimate. The U.S. moves to announce in April a part of a maximum pressure campaign aimed at halting Iran's ballistic missile program and curbing its regional power, including its support for conflicts in Syria and Yemen. The decision was aimed at cutting Iran's oil export to zero and depriving the government of its lifeline of $50 billion in annual oil revenues. So that's going to hurt the bottom line. It's going to hurt them big time. Serious decisions. Tehran, however, remained defiant. Now, the thing is, nobody wins with sanctions. That's the problem, guys. What scares me the most or keeps me up at night, knowing that there's a country going in that's being sanctioned to death or sanctioned, like Venezuela and stuff. One thing that majorly concerns me is the people. The people lose. Countries lose. Diabetics, a lot of them dying. because they can't get their medicine, because there's sanctions, right? So you guys know how the pharmaceutical cartel works too. Things like that. There's just like a lot of little like car parts, things that people, the people. Never mind the government, the people. If the government really needs something from a sanctioned country, they'll just fabricate it themselves or get it from another country. Where a citizen in a country that depends on their local pharmacists to get in their medicine, what do they do? Where does the buck stop? I mean, you can't go any further than that unless you start calling up the pharmaceutical companies in other countries to find out if they deliver to your country. It's scary. We certainly won't sell 2.5 million barrels per day under, the nuclear deal, he said. We will not make serious decisions about our financial economic management, and the government is working on that. Can U.S. bring down Iranian oil production to zero? A United Kingdom-based oil energy consultant says tankers loading Iranian crude could bypass U.S. sanctions by operating under the radar and making it harder to track actual volumes of oil shipment. Within the sea trade, there's hundreds of tankers moving around, and these vessels go to different ports and load and unload, so on. And tankers, when they get out to open sea, they may switch off some of their signals so they won't be tracked and then change names on the paper. Wow, so they're going really hardcore, really, really, really hardcore into the whole black market petro, eh? China may give up Iran oil to protect relationship with the United States. So it looks like the China's giving into the U.S. Last year we had non-oil exports of 43 billion. We should increase production and raise our non-oil exports and resist America's plot against our sale of oil. So if Iran is smart and starts diversifying its economy in other things, like maybe mining more diamonds and mining more gold, silver, copper, all kinds of uranium, like I think Iran, if they diversify now, create the jobs now, train people now, I think Iran could do okay, right? Washington scrapped 2 sanction waivers, one that allowed Iran to store excess heavy water produced by uranium enrichment processes in Oman, and the other one that allowed Iran to swap enriched uranium for mined uranium yellow cake with Russia. Wow, there's just too much happening here. Let's go to this one here for the Clinton News Network. U.S. braced for Iranian response on oil crackdown starts. Another one here. Is it going to zero? So basically, it's the other article I just read. Basically, cyber response. Rome said his group has baked in 200,000 barrels a day of straight smuggling, ship-to-ship smuggling. Wow. As well as countries trying to conceal locations of tankers. There will be Iranian crude reaching the markets after May 2nd, he said. It will just be significantly smaller volumes. Compared to the Obama administration, the Trump administration has taken off more Iranian barrels in a short amount of time with less international cooperation, said Rome. But he adds that the manner in which they did that has been will continue to be highly disruptive to international oil markets and the bilateral relationship with Iran's main oil importers, he added. Wow. And the potential of disruption to oil markets may end up contributing to the difficulty of cutting Iran's exports. Production within OPEC oil cartel has been distributed by the U.S. sanctions on Venezuela, intensifying conflict inside Libya, and Saudi decision to cut. Yeah. So it is Rosenberg said oil market realities are another reason it will be hard to eliminate Iranian oil exports. I don't expect it to go to zero. There aren't enough supplies. There was enough notice, said Rosenberg. The Saudis don't have enough. That is not happening. So realistically, could this work? Could they get oil to zero? The black market petrol is still flowing, right? And then this happens 2 hours ago. Bolton, this is from Al Jazeera. Bolton, U.S. deploying bombers to Middle East. Oh man. In warning to Iran, U.S. National Security Advisor says move in response to a number of troubling and escalatory indications and warnings. So this is the prelude to the war, guys. And it's when nations start flexing their muscles and saber rattling. This is very concerning. This is 2 hours old. The United States is deploying a carrier strike group and a bomber task force to the Middle East to send a clear message to Iran that any attack on U.S. interests or its allies will be met with unrelenting force. Amid rising tensions between Washington and Tehran, U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton said on Sunday that the deployment of USS Abraham Lincoln, Courier Strike Group, and the U.S. Central Command region was a response to a number of troubling and escalatory indications and warnings. The United States is not a seeker of war with the Iranian regime, but we are fully prepared to respond to any attack, whether by proxy, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or regular Iranian forces, Bolton said in a statement. So here it is. New Iran sanctions to hit Turkish economy. This is grinding us down. It's going to grind a lot of countries to a point to a brink of I don't even know how to put this in English words. I'm concerned, guys. And I don't like to do too much war talk and stuff. I'm not, in 12 hours, it's going to be this and that. There's a lot of channels that do that already. But this is a problem, and I think it's going to affect, and this might be the little trigger that everything that a lot of Western countries have been looking for to start crashing the markets and bringing things back to reality, and the reset button get pushed, because life is becoming severely unaffordable, and it's getting to a point where it's starting to hit people's doors. It's starting to hit the home fronts. Let's see what happens with this. Could this be a prelude to a war? Could this be a prelude? What is this, guys? Is this just flexing muscles? Is it
to the Middle East to send what it calls a clear message to Iran? The USS Abraham Lincoln and support ships have been dispatched.
Yeah.
The carrier was due to dock in Croatia on Wednesday. U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton says it is in response to troubling developments in the region. The latest U.S. effort aimed at increasing pressure on Iran.
Yeah.
Gabriel Elizondo is live for us in Washington. So, Gabriel, this is part of a White House statement that was put out that explains this further. What did it say?
Yeah, it's a very unexpected and unusual statement from the White House. It came a little bit before 9 p.m. local time here in Washington on Sunday night. Totally unexpected. The statement was short, but it did mention that, and it's from John Bolton, the National Security Advisor, but it said, as you mentioned, they're going to be U.S.
I already mentioned that statement there, and see what else we
Journal newspaper here in the United States is reporting that this decision to move this aircraft carrier to the region was just made within the last couple days after meetings throughout the weekend that, according to the Wall Street Journal, at least one source that they have in their article that just came out said that this is due to new intelligence that's been received by the United States, new intelligence of Iran possibly moving some military assets around that could, according to the Wall Street Journal, jeopardize U.S. assets or U.S. interests in the Gulf region. That, according to the Wall Street Journal. Beyond that, though, no other information. We did reach out to the Department of Defense. All they would confirm to us this deployment of this aircraft carrier and the bombers, but beyond that would not give us any more details.
Interesting. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Could this be a prelude to a war, or is just smoke and mirrors? You know, let's it's nothing. It's just typical saber rattling and nothing to worry about. Let me know. Comment below. Thanks for watching. And if you want to support the transmission, just go ahead and share a video. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys.